Fighting fair means knowing when and how to take a break when you're having an argument. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through some simple tips and tricks to help you take a better break when you're fighting with your partner. My name is Valerie Krieg, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Colorado, and I help couples stop fighting and start communicating. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through some tips and tricks to help you take a better break when you're in an argument. Now, most of us have heard the advice. If you're in an argument with your partner and things are getting heated and you're feeling overwhelmed, just take a break and come back to it. That is wonderful advice, but it's often easier said than done. Oftentimes, I hear couples in my office talk about how they've tried taking a break in the past and it didn't work. Worst case scenario, taking a break actually led to more conflict or more intense argument. And I get that. Most of us don't know how to take a break. We hear the advice, just take a break, but how do you do it? So I want to share some tips and tricks with you to make sure that when you take a break, it's successful. So let's just start real quick with why. Why bother to take a break? It's natural when we're arguing with our partners, when we're talking about something kind of intense or emotional, it's natural to feel really heated, to have our emotions rise, and it's natural to feel defensive, maybe to feel overwhelmed. And when that happens, when we hit that overwhelmed defensive point, nothing good is going to happen next. Nothing good is going to happen with your argument. If you're feeling defensive, if you're feeling overwhelmed, heck, even if you're starting to get personal, you need to take a break. Nothing constructive is going to happen next. Oftentimes, when we're in that stage, when we're in that mode, we lash out, we stop fighting fair, we start fighting mean, and when we start fighting mean, not only do we not accomplish anything with our partners, we do damage. We do damage to the relationship. So it's incredibly important to know when you've hit that point and to be able to take a break to give yourself the time and space to calm down. That's why learning how to take a break is so important. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it's easier said than done. So the first tip I want to share with you is to take a break before you get upset. Right? And I know this is tough. Most couples try to take a break when they've passed that upset point. Most couples try to take a break when they're already really, really angry. And at that point, it's incredibly hard to walk away from an argument. So the first tip I want to share with you is to monitor yourself. Monitor your stress levels, your anger levels, and your anxiety on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being no stress, no upset. 10 being I'm completely distressed, I'm so angry I can blow my top. And know that when you're in an argument with your partner, if you hit about a 5, you need to take a break. Don't wait until you're an 8 or a 9. Don't wait until you're about to blow up to take a break. Take a break at a 5, right? So that's my first tip. Anytime you're having a difficult conversation with your partner, monitor yourself on that scale. And when you're starting to get upset, when you're starting to get overwhelmed, call a timeout. So that's my first tip. My next tip is to make sure that you communicate what's happening to your partner. And I know this sounds simple, but so many of us forget to do this. We try to take a break by walking away, by tuning out, by leaving the room. Our partners don't understand what's happening. We have to tell them, hey, hun, I'm feeling really overwhelmed and stressed out. I need to take a break right now. So that's my second tip in taking a break. Communicate to your partner. Let them know you need a timeout. Let them know that you're feeling overwhelmed and clue them in to what's going on and what's happening. Third tip, set a time to check back in. So many of the couples I work with struggle to take a break during an argument because one or both people is afraid that if we take a break, we're not going to finish this conversation. It's going to be unresolved. And so it's really hard to take a break if you feel like taking a break means that the discussion is over. So my third tip is to set a time to check in. So let your partner know, hey, I need to take a break. I need to take a little bit of a timeout to calm myself down. And then let's check back in half an hour. If things are really tough, if the argument is really overwhelming, check back in the next day. right? But do set a time to come back. Now, when you're setting a time to come back to the argument, make sure that there's an understanding that this is a check-in. This is not a commitment to continue the discussion at that point in time. It's a check-in. If you set your check-in time, for example, as half an hour later, you might find that you're not actually ready at the 30-minute mark, and that's okay, right? When you set that check-in time and you check back in, if you're not feeling ready to have the discussion, continue your break. Set another check-in time, half an hour later, an hour later, right? But that's that third tip. Make sure you set a check-in time so that both you and your partner are on the same page about your expectations, and you both know that you're actually going to come back together and finish the discussion. So, fourth tip. After you've communicated to your partner that you need a break, after you've set a check-in time, go to separate spaces. You go to the kitchen, your partner goes to the bedroom, take some time apart. And when you're apart, the first thing I want you to do is practice some deep breathing. Do some self-soothing. If you need to take a break during an argument, there's a pretty good chance that your body's on high alert. You've entered fight or flight mode, so you're going to need to calm your body down. So when you're actually taking that break and you're taking time apart, first thing you need to do is calm your body down. Do some deep breathing, practice some square breathing, do some relaxation. It's okay if you want to take out your phone and distract yourself for a few minutes. Do something that's going to help your body get back down to equilibrium, right? So make sure that your breathing has come back to normal, your heart rate has come back to normal. When you're taking that break, do some self-soothing. The next thing I want you to do when you're actually taking your break is to reflect. Spend some time reflecting on how the argument got so heated. Try to see if you can understand where your partner was coming from. Now that you have a little space and you feel less pressure, try to see if you can understand their perspective. Spend some time reflecting on what they were talking about and what happened. Spend some time reflecting on yourself. What were the feelings that came up for you? What were the thoughts? What were the memories? What triggered you? What made you so upset? So take some time when your body is calm to reflect on the conversation, to reflect on the argument, and decide on a different course of action. Decide on a different way to approach the issue. Maybe that means sharing your feelings with your partner. Maybe that means asking them questions so you understand a little bit better where they're coming from. But take that time to reflect on a new course. So once you've done that, once you've calmed your body down, once you've reflected on a different way of handling things, a different way of talking about things, then and only then do I want you to return to the discussion. And this is really critical, returning to the discussion. That was one of the tips I mentioned earlier. Set a check-in time, set a commitment to return to the discussion. It's really important that taking a break, doesn't become an excuse to duck out of tough conversations. You don't want to leave problems unresolved. So that's my final tip. When you're ready, return to the discussion and make good on your commitment to follow through and resolve the issue. Now, not every issue can be resolved, but you can make a commitment to hear your partner out and to understand where they're coming from. So again, my top tips for taking a successful break. Tip number 1, tune into your body. Make sure you take a break long before you are upset and overwhelmed and long before the fight gets mean or gets personal. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, always communicate what's happening. Always let your partner know that you're actually taking a time out, that you're taking a break, and that you're not just walking away. Tip number 3, set a check-in time. Make sure that you and your partner are on the same page about when you're going to come back together and how you're going to check back in to continue the conversation or to see if you're ready to continue the conversation. Tip number 4, when you're taking a break, practice self-soothing, deep breathing, relaxation, calm your body back down. Tip number 5, when you're on your break and your body is calm, practice some self-reflection. Make sure that you have a good handle on what happened and how the fight escalated so that you can set a different course, so that you can do something different the next time. And tip number 6, always return to the discussion when you're ready. Don't just drop it and leave your partner hanging. Right? So I hope you found those tips and tricks helpful next time you need to take a break. And if you found this helpful, please like our video, please share our video. And if you feel like you're struggling in your relationship, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.